Okay, let's take a look at part 2 of equations of lines. So here we're going to use slope y-intercept form instead of standard form like we did in part 1. So slope y-intercept form of an equation is y equals mx plus b, where you of course know this is your slope and this is your y-intercept. And just to remind you, to find your y-intercept, you let x equal 0 and solve, and to find your x-intercept, or where the line crosses the x-axis, you let y equal 0 to solve for that. But here in this equation, it tells you what the y-intercept is in this format, y equals mx plus b. So here, if it's in the format y equals mx plus b, we know that slope is 3 and y-intercept is 4. If it's not in y equals mx plus b, we have to rearrange it so it's in y equals mx plus b. So this is what we do. We have here, just zoom this in a little bit. If we have here this, we're going to put this into y equals mx plus b by keeping the y here and moving everything else over. So it'll be minus 3x plus 8. And then divide everything by 6. So y is on its own. Minus 3 over 6 reduces to minus a half, and 8 over 6 reduces to 4 over 3, and then we know the slope is negative a half, and the y-intercept is 4/3. Okay, let's try this one. Here, we're going to have to put it in y equals mx plus b, so let me move the y over to the left side. So we have positive 4y, because it's negative 4y here, x minus 4. Then we're going to divide both sides by 4, so we have y equals x over 4 is the same as 1/4 x, and 4 over 4 is the same as 1, so we have a slope of 1/4 and a y-intercept of negative 1. Okay, let's see what this question says. Find the slope and the y-intercept of the line that passes through the following pairs of points. Okay, well, we know how to find the slope. We've done that several times. So let's do that quickly. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Plug in our points, y2, y1, x2, x1. Simplify, minus 5 over 2. Slope is that. Now, if we want to find out what our y-intercept is, we know here that if we do y equals mx plus b, and we know we can pick either of these points to plug in for x and y, and we have m, we can solve for b. In any equation, if you have all of the unknowns except one, you can plug them in and solve for the one you don't know. So let's pick this. Actually, let's pick this point. There's no negatives. It'll be easier. So y is 4. M is negative 5 over 2, and x is 2, plus b. So here I've got 4 equals negative. So this here, there's two ways of looking at this. One is you can make this negative 10 over 2 and reduce. Another is that you can cancel any numerator to any denominator when you're multiplying. So here this is, if that's the case, then this is 1 and 1, because 2 over 2 reduces to 1 over 1, and we end up with negative 5. So I'll bring this negative 5 over, so it's plus 5. And we rewrite it so that the unknown is on the left. B is equal to 9. So we found the slope, and we found the y-intercept, and we reread the question, and we did everything we need to do. So let's do another one. Slope. So our slope is equal to negative a half. If I'm doing it too quickly for you, then just pause the video, do it, and then check your answer. And then we have to find out our y equals mx plus b. Plug in a point. I'll just pick 2, 0 just because. Again, you just eeny, meeny, miny, moe it. And 0 equals, and then negative a half times 2. So that's, again, you can do Over here you can do negative a half times 2 over 1, and you can cancel 1 and 1, so this is negative 1 over 1, which is negative 1. Or you could have multiplied it out, which is negative 2 over 2, and then just reduced, it still gives you negative 1. So now I'm going to bring negative 1 over here, so it's 1 equals b, and I'll rewrite it as b equals 1, and there's my slope, and there's my y-intercept. Okay, so now let's see. Here we have two non-vertical lines. Okay, so if two non-vertical lines are parallel, then they have the same slope. And all vertical lines which have undefined slopes are parallels. Okay, so let me just go back here for a second. We were looking here at vertical lines. The slope of a horizontal line is 0. There is no slope. If you were skiing on a slope like that, you're going 0, nowhere. Here, this is undefined. You are undefined if you are going to ski down a vertical slope like this. Okay? So we know that all vertical lines are parallel. They have the same slope. All horizontal lines are parallel to one another. They have the same slope. That's what they're mentioning over here. Okay, let's get back to this part here. And two perpendicular lines will have a product of, their slopes will have a product of negative 1, or we can say that their slopes are negative reciprocals. So question 1, it says determine an equation. So when we finish, we have to make sure we have an equation for each of the following lines. So if we have a line that's parallel to this and passes through this, remember, they're either going to give us a slope and a point, or they're going to give us enough information to find the slope and the point. So the equation of the line we're looking for here in A, the slope will be the same as this slope because the lines are parallel. And here's the given point. So we have to find out what the slope of this is. And I recommend that we put it into y equals mx plus b so we can see what the slope is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the 2x over, so I've got minus y equals negative 2x plus 7. Then I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1, or change the sign of everything. So that's that. That's different, and that's different. And now, if my line that I want to write the equation of is parallel to this line, and this line has a slope of 2, then my point, my line is going to have a slope of 2. It's going to go through this point here. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to write the equation of the line. So I've got here y equals mx plus b. Y is 2, m is 2, x is negative 3 plus b. So that's 2 equals negative 6 plus b. Let's go over here. 2 equals negative 6 plus b. So b, bring it over here, negative 2. Bring it over here, negative. So I've got negative b equals negative 8, and when I multiply both sides by negative 1, I get b equals 8. So what's the equation of my line? The equation of my line is y equals, what was my m again? 2? 2x plus 8. Now let's take a look at this line. This line, what are they going to tell us about the slope and the point? So they gave us a point and they gave us information to find the slope. In the slope, what are we going to do? Let's see here. So if our line is perpendicular to this line, that means the slope of our line has a negative reciprocal of this line's slope. But I can't see this line's slope. It's not in y equals mx plus b. So let's put it in y equals mx plus b, then take the negative reciprocal, then we'll have the slope of our line. There's a point, and we'll do this thing and find the equation of the line. That's the plan. Okay, so here, first we're going to put this in y equals mx plus b. Negative x plus 1, right? We move it over, change the sign. Then we're going to divide everything by negative 3. So we've got y equals negative 1 over negative 3 is positive a third x minus 1/3. So the slope of this line is that. So if the slope of that line is that, the slope of the negative reciprocal, or the slope of the perpendicular line, is going to be change the sign and flip the fraction. So with that slope and with this point, I am now going to find the equation of my line. So y equals mx plus b, and I've got negative 1 equals negative 3, 1 plus b, negative 1 equals negative 3 plus b, negative 1 plus 3 equals b, that's equal to 2, so b is equal to 2. So now the equation of my line with slope of negative 3 and b of 2 is y equals negative x plus 2. Last one, like this. Find the equation of a line that's perpendicular to this and has the same x-intercept as that. Okay, so my slope, first I have to put this in y equals mx plus b, so x comes over, so it's negative, and negative 8 comes over, so it's positive 8. And then divide everything by 2, so I have y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. And then that's my slope is that, but I'm perpendicular, so the perpendicular slope is flip and change the sign. So my slope will be 2 of my line. Now I have to find my point. They didn't give it to me, but they said I have the same x-intercept as this. And so if I find the x-intercept, well, wait, x-intercept, we said for the x-intercept we let y equals 0. So let's do that. Instead of y equals negative 2x plus 4, I'm going to say 0 equals negative 2x plus 4. Then I'll bring negative 2x over, so it's positive 2x. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I get x equals 2. So if my x-intercept is 2, remember my x-intercept is 2, x is 2 when y is 0. So that's the point, that's the slope, and now I can do y equals, so we did this first, did this second, and now I'm doing this third. So here I've got y equals mx plus b, and I've got y is 0, m is 2, x is 2, and b is what I'm looking for, so 0 equals 4 plus b. So negative 4 equals b, so let me just go this way, b equals negative 4, and therefore my equation is y equals m is 2, x minus 4. So again, they will always give you the slope and a point if they are looking for you to tell them what the equation of a line is, or they'll give you enough information to find the slope and a point.